All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. We're back again with a live stream, bringing you a Chelsea preview, a preview that I'm so dreading to do. To be honest, it's an expected loss. That's how I look at it. It's an expected loss. I would love to be surprised. I would love to be proven wrong that we're not going to lose and we're going to go up there and put up a fight. But how can we? How can we expect such a thing with all the mess that is happening internally in Chelsea Football Club? How can we even expect anything but an absolute slapping? I mean, we can't even beat teams that are in and around us or even lower than us, let alone beat teams that are up on the table, which is going to be very, very difficult. And Arsenal, they've got, they still have a lot to play for. They've got the Premier League title, which I believe is gone, but, I'm sure they're going to give it a best shot to push City as far as they can. And they've not won over the last 4 games. So this is a particular match that is set up for them to bring their winning ways back again. So look, we're just gonna have to hold that again, don't we? It's gonna be another difficult watch along. I can just picture it already. But yeah, look, I hope we can do something. I truly hope we can do something. Very, very unexpected, but if we can somehow manage to get a draw, I think a draw will be sensational result for us. I mean, this is where we are now, ladies and gentlemen. Gone are those days when we go into these fixtures thinking, nah, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna put up a good fight. Nah, those days are finished, man. Those days are so gone. We don't belong in those days anymore. We now belong in days where we just expect losses. Frank Lampard, 5 out of 5 losses, about to be 6 out of 6. I don't even remember the last time we lost 5 out of 5 consecutive losses, let alone 6. And it's just I'm dreading the lineup Frank's actually going to put out. You wait till I do my lineup, you guys are going to have a laugh. But yeah. It's gonna be difficult. Before we talk about even more about the match, I want to talk about certain comments from Frank Lampard yesterday in the press conference and also post the press conference when they do the newspaper, the bit after the press conference. A couple of things I want to talk about. One, Frank seems to really admire the Arsenal process. He was talking about it in the press conference as well. He was saying, hey, Arsenal weren't there before, before this particular season. Arsenal were struggling, but they stuck to their guns. They stuck to their laurels. And surely enough, they found the stability and now they're competing. And I'm like, and I honestly want to see what you guys have to say in the live chat. Nearly 70 people live at the moment. Smash up the like button, guys. Let's get those likes up to 70 immediately. Big up to each and every one of you guys. Big up to Ganswood. Big up to Celestino. Big up to Royston, Nev Plays, Jerry Z, Mish, Mohammed, Shivendra. Big up to each and every one of you guys. Everyone in the live chat. Big up to you guys, man. I want to see what you guys have to say about this in the live chat. Like this whole Arsenal process, ladies and gentlemen, this whole thing, I feel like it gets overplayed so much. It's like stick with mediocrity as long as possible until it turns around for you, and just hope that eventually enough you're going to win silverware. I'm starting to think people are enjoying the process a lot more than actually enjoying winning silverware. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand for certain things to materialize, you have to be patient. I get that. But you need to be patient with the right individual. I mean, the way Frank was talking in the press conference, he was like stating, Chelsea needs stability, this, that, the other. And I'm thinking, If Frank was part of the board, he'd probably hire himself as the full-time manager for Chelsea Football Club. I mean, how can you be patient with a particular manager? And I'm just talking about Frank now. We can talk about Potter down the track as well. How can you be patient with a manager like Frank, who's now had 5 out of 5 losses in a club like Chelsea Football Club? Patience is only given to individuals that are going to show some form of credibility. Look at the lineups Frank Lampard's coming up with. Look at the way we're playing. How can we be patient and stick with the process with this sort of football? Now that's Frank. Even with Graham Potter, under Frank's sort of demeanor, the kind of vibe that he was letting out, like he would stick around with Graham Potter as well. How could we have stuck around? Like, I think we as a fan base were very patient with Graham Potter. Very, very patient. Had Graham Potter's record not been 2 out of 17, whatever insane record that was prior to him getting sacked, had Graham Potter's record not been like that, had it been like, let's say, I don't know, even 8 or 9 out of 17, I think we would have stuck through with him. If Graham Potter was able to keep us around 7th, 6th, I think Graham Potter still sticks around. And I think most of our fan base would be like, do you know what, first season, it's a transitional season. We'll see how it goes next season. But the fact that Graham Potter was 11th or 10th, whatever it was, now we're 12th. But obviously Potter's not around. The fact that we were 11th for so long, 10th and 11th for so long, I don't get it. Like, we honestly, we as a fan base, we're getting brainwashed to think process, outbids, process outdoes silverware. At the end of the day, the name of the game is silverware. This is why I appreciated Thomas Tuchel so much. He came in, he knew exactly what Chelsea was all about, competing for silverware. Now, I know a lot of people will say, Miz, last time we competed for the Premier League was a long time ago. You're deluded. We haven't competed for the Premier. I understand. But I rather back someone like Thomas Tuchel. I'd rather back someone who actually knows what's going on, who's got the credibility, who's got the credentials. People want to try and compare. Look at City. Look at Klopp with Liverpool. Man, you're talking about Pep Guardiola. He's, probably, if not the greatest of all time. It's not that difficult to stay patient with Pep Guardiola. People talk about his first season. I'm pretty certain he ended up coming third still. Do you know what I mean? Like, same with Jurgen Klopp. Okay, Jurgen Klopp took a little bit of time. First season wasn't that great, but you could see the progress slowly happening. Second season, a little bit more progress. But none of them. Well, let's talk about Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp was never 11th or 12th with Liverpool. People sometimes make us feel like, this fan base is so spoiled, this, that, the other. We're not spoiled. We're realistic. Where we are right now in the table is unacceptable. It's truly unacceptable. And then people want to talk about Arsenal's process. What process, man, under Mikel Arteta? They're about to bottle the title charge this season anyway. Mikel Arteta, I'm pretty sure, was 8th, 5th, right? Wasn't it? When he first took over, 8th, 5th. And now he's about to come second. Okay, nice progression. But ultimately, Mikel Arteta, all he's won is one FA Cup, though. And do you think next season Arsenal are going to win the league? I'll tell you right now, this season was it for Arsenal. We were in the mud. Liverpool were in the mud for predominant, time of the Premier League. Man United slowly coming back under Erik ten Hag. Newcastle slowly growing. Spurs dipping. Arsenal only had to contend with City, and a City that wasn't even fully functional in the first parts of the season. Only in the last probably 10 games or so, City came alive. They finally figured out Erling Haaland, KDB, Gundogan, and the entire whole thing with Grealish. the back line, the three at the back, John Stones sometimes playing in midfield, Rodri. It's only been about the last 10 games when City really clicked. This was the perfect season for Arsenal to take full advantage and try and win it. And even then in their process, they're about to bottle it. They're about to bottle it. So everyone talking about, Chelsea should follow that Arsenal way. What Arsenal way, man? What Arsenal way? It all comes down to having an elite manager. You're telling me if Arsenal didn't go with Arteta, let's just say they went with a top-notch manager when they selected Arsenal. I don't know who was available back then, but let's say for argument's sake, I don't know. Let's say it's Zidane or something at that time. I'm just throwing a name out there. But an elite manager at that point. You're saying that that particular manager doesn't get Arsenal up and running quicker. I don't think they'd have to go through 8th, 5th, 2nd. I think that particular elite manager would have dragged them to top 4 conversation immediately, and then go from go with pushing for the title. And on top of that, it's not even that. Like Arsenal owners, like we've been blessed that we've had owners that cared. Do you know what I mean? Like Roman cared about us a lot. Roman looked after us like a fan. Roman was a fan. Arsenal owners never cared about winning the league. They were very content about just coming fourth. For them, that was the trophy. Do you know what I mean? So it's strange. It's strange. And then Frank comes out and says that, but I would have won more than 3 Premier League titles. I would have won maybe 5 or 6 had we not changed that many managers around. And I feel like saying, Frank, just talk less. Honestly, just talk less a little bit. Just focus on the game, man. Just be blessed that you won 3. And it wasn't just, that you just carried us on your own. Like you had some elite players in and around you. You were a massive factor, no doubts about that. But you had some proper men as well in and around you. The only manager that I feel dirty about with Roman during the Roman time is Ancelotti. Ancelotti probably didn't deserve it. Scotty H is saying he's not wrong there. Yeah, maybe he would have won, but had we not got those elite level managers, we have to thank Roman as well, man. He got some top level managers. He didn't get any Mickey Mouse managers. Like Roman didn't get like a Graham Potter type of a manager during that time. Roman didn't hire like a Frank Lampard level of a manager back in that time. Roman went for the elite. We should just be happy with what we did, man, under Roman. Look at us now. Look at us now. It hasn't even been a year since we've been taken over, and we're already thinking, whoa, I wonder how these new ownership's going to go. Do you know what I mean? Top Dog RLG, thanks so much for the super chat. If Lampard set us up that way against Brentford at Stamford Bridge, I shudder to think how he'll set up away against potential title winners. You best believe it's going to be a defensive outlook. It really will be a defensive outlook. But let me see some of your comments in the live chat in regards to this whole process. What does process really mean for you? For me, honestly, process, there's still got to be wins. You still got to have a high percentage of wins. You still got to maintain some sort of credibility. You can't be finishing in a process 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, whatever the case is. You still have to have some sort of credibility. You still need to keep showing progress every time and then become serious title contenders. And pick up those silverware as well. Whatever little silverware that's available, you pick them up. Domestic cups, European cups, you try and pick them up. Try and get some sort of silverware every season, if not every alternative season. For me, that's a process that you can back. You cannot go without a silverware at Chelsea Football Club for like years and years and years and expect the fans to believe in a process. Do you know what I mean? Chris, thank you so much for the super chat. This summer is truly make or break. Need to hit the ground running. One game a week. I don't want to hear about processes. The owners need to get it right. Absolutely agreed, man. This summer is a huge one. Delipa, thank you so much for the super chat. Lampard eloped me the day he threw Roman under the bus during the ban. He said he doesn't know Roman and never spoken to him. Truth is, he's not JT. Yeah, I mean, I found some of the things that he said in the press conference was so strange. He's just trying to appease the new owners now. He's all about process. This, I mean, look at Frank as a manager. He talks about process. Which club out there right now is going to bring in Frank as a manager? Like, how can anyone trust Frank, carrying the process? Like, Frank talks about stability. Chelsea Football Club needs stability. Now, how can we bring stability with the madness that you're doing? You're on 5 out of 5 losses. Do you know what I mean? See what else you guys are saying? This game is foregone conclusion for me. Lampard has shown zero ability to get even anything out of this team. The sooner the owners announce Poch, the better for us. Agreed, absolutely. Joshua, big up to you as well. Royston, we should be looking at Newcastle process, not Arsenal. Bang on. Bang on. Should be looking at Newcastle process, man. Look at what the owners are doing there. Look at the way they knew that the fan base, a rock solid fan base. They've got good facilities, great stadium, this, that, the other. They've made some really good signings in the likes of Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, Trippier. And they've really got things moving. Let's not be revisionist, though he was a legend of the club, and I've seen a lot of people smear his name recently. No, of course he's a legend of the club. But as a player, man, like I can't stress this enough. As a player, unbelievable. But what's the point of talking about the player when he's not the player right now? He's a manager. I think we should be confident enough to talk about him as a manager. Honestly, like some of the stuff that he's been saying in recent times, post-match, pre-match, whatever you want to have it, it's just a bit strange. Misbro, can we appreciate the fact that City lost the best left back in the world and still don't look like they've dropped their form and results? Appreciate the fact that City lost the best left back in the world and still don't look like they've dropped their form and results. City lost the best left back in the world. Who's the best left back in the world? City lost the best. I'm not really sure what you're talking about there, Mitsun Man. Yeah. Because what's your view about Chelsea being very much interested in signing Leeds forward Wilfred Gnonto? I mean, are we even signing a proven striker? I'm done with his unheard names linking. I don't think it's true, man. I mean, all of this stuff is now. Oh, Ganswood saying Mendy. Oh, Cancelo. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, all right. Fair enough. He was playing on the left side predominantly. But yeah, you're right. They didn't drop any standards. And this is the thing. Elite managers, they know when to trigger, when to pull the trigger and get rid of someone. Pep Guardiola is as elite as it comes. João Cancelo was causing a bit of a ruckus. Get out of here. Even though he was a crucial part of the team, no, your attitude sucked. You're creating a bit of a chaos. You need to go. And as you said, they look so much better. They've improved, which is mad. But yeah, in regards to Wilfred Gnonto, I don't think this is true. I mean, it's normal because he's one of their best players. They're about to get relegated and they want to link up all of these players with everyone. I don't think it's true. I'm not interested with Wilfred Gnonto. I think he's a good enough player, but I mean, just make us a mid-table team, why don't you? Honestly, make us a mid-table team. Top Dog RLG, thank you so much for the super chat. Process is only valid excuse for clubs with limited resources, not clubs spending 600 million in one season. We shouldn't have to sacrifice short-term success for long-term sustainability. Bang on. Do you know what a laughing stock we are with the rivals? Do you understand what a laughing stock we are with the rivals? The amount of money we've thrown over the last 2 windows and where we are. It's a joke thing, man. You've got Jurgen Klopp a few days ago talking in an interview saying he's so happy to see Chelsea fail with all this money that's been thrown, because this is the point that he's been trying to prove all along, that money, just throwing money, ain't gonna just solve the problem in modern era anymore. You got to develop the team. You got to buy with the right characters, the right profile. We didn't do that. We didn't even think about the manager when we hired Graham Potter. We didn't actually look at the extensive, exhaustive interview process that we're going through now just to hire Pochettino. We didn't do this with Graham Potter. We just got rid of Thomas Tuchel, and then we brought in Graham Potter in no time. You have to, you've at that point when we got rid of Thomas Tuchel, it was just a bad time, because our owners didn't have the board of directors, this, that, the other, and they just made a crazy move out of nowhere. They should have waited. They should have just stuck around with Thomas Tuchel for a little longer until they got the board of directors in, and at that point they could have made a decision after. But they made a snapshot decision, got rid of Thomas Tuchel, brought in Graham Potter, and it blew up in their face. And now I'm just a bit annoyed that it's just taking a bit too long. Now you've got your board of directors. Now you've got the footballing brains. It really shouldn't take you so long now. You should just take a step back, allow for the board of directors, the footballing people to, find the right person and then recommend that. But fair enough. You want to have an exhaustive process, no problems. Bobby Smoky Signals, thank you so much for the super chat. The current change is bound to have early problems. Yeah, no, absolutely. Chris, thank you so much for the super chat. Top level club doesn't appoint Potter or Lampard. Facts. Absolute facts, man. Absolute facts. Ryan saying, Miz, do you think that we actually develop the players we bought or just loan them out? Look, I don't know, man. What is the plan with all of these players like Chukwuemeka? I really thought this was a great opportunity this season. From the bits and pieces that we saw with Chukwuemeka earlier on when there was a lot of injuries, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to integrate him in as much as we could. But, for some reason, Graham Potter didn't go that way. I don't know whether it's the fact that, with these youngsters, we just can't hope to get our targets, whatever the target was. Maybe the target in the beginning of the season was top 4, and maybe Graham Potter just thought that we can't get these top 4 targets with young players, with youth. But even now when there's nothing to play for, I wish we just use some of the young players. At least use the ones that we know that are going to be part of the future, like Mudryk, Noni Madueke. There's no excuses anymore to not to play them. We're literally out from everything. And even then, Frank Lampard puts on the lineups that are so crazy up front, Gallagher and Sterling. N'Golo Kante playing in right wing. I don't understand why we're not allowing Mudryk, Noni Madueke, Chukwuemeka, David Datra Fofana. Like, you'll see. You best believe against Arsenal tonight, you're either going to see Havertz, Aubameyang, who's not going to be part of the team next season, or you're going to see Gallagher and Sterling. Why not? Like Frank talks about yesterday in the press conference, he was saying that he doesn't like a false 9. He doesn't like a false 9. He likes a 9 that the wingers can play off of. Well, okay. In that case, then he's talking about he wants to use Aubameyang. All right, fine, no problems. You want to use Aubameyang for the time being. try and get something out of these matches, the remaining matches, no problems. But if you're going to say that Aubameyang is not match sharp, he's not ready completely, well, at least then use David Datra Fofana. At least use David Datra Fofana. Havertz is not that guy who you can play off of. His hold up is not that good. Just give David Datra Fofana an opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is with the youngsters, man. We bought a whole heap of young players, and I'm pretty certain all of these young players are probably frustrated as well to be at Chelsea Football Club at the moment. Thank you so much for the super chat. Like Yunus said, we don't know how to finish, but if we get lucky and get one goal, our defense is good to stop Arsenal. Yeah, look, we have a good defensive record. We've not been slapped up by any team, thank God. Defensively, I think we're like third team in the Premier League. We've got a good record defensively. But yeah, we just can't score. We just can't score. If somehow we manage to score, but it's Arsenal, man. At the Emirates, look, we scored first against Brighton and we got done. I'm pretty sure it was at Stamford Bridge as well. So it don't matter, man. It don't matter anymore. I just hope that somehow we manage to get a draw. I don't know how, maybe a 0-0, but I fully expect to lose, man. I fully expect to lose. Joshua, I'm sure Mudryk would have been a beast at Arsenal because they have a system and a proper tactic. We don't have a game plan. It's just go out there and express yourself. True. And even now, I don't even think it's express yourself. Just go out there and just hope for the best. Hope for the best. Like, no one's really expressing themselves. There's no attacking players. We're just playing with bare defenders. A whole heap of midfielders. It's mad. And then these people talk about stability. They want to talk about process. That's when I find it so laughable. Frank talks about all of this stuff and then he puts on the kind of... It honestly, when you see some of the up-and-coming managers in the world, like, for example, Xavi Alonso in Bayer Leverkusen. I've watched Bayer Leverkusen in recent times and I've watched Xavi, the way he plays, Xavi Alonso. Just, guys, have a look. These are the up-and-coming managers. Ruben Amorim of Sporting Lisbon. Look at the way he plays and his team. Very exciting. I don't know what happened with Frank, man. I don't know why Frank is doing, putting out the lineups that he has been putting up and then talking about stability and, talking like as if he's some sort of a veteran manager. It's mad. Roman didn't just throw money when he bought the club. He employed Peter Kenyon from Man United as he wasn't knowledgeable about football yet. Then came Jose and then the players started coming in. Bang on, man. Bang on. Good comment. Good comment. This is what our owners should have done from the get-go. They should have just accepted the fact that, look, we don't know too much about this game of football. We don't know too much about European football. Let us learn. Let us get the right figures to run the club, and we'll learn from them. Let them give us good recommendations, and we'll hold them accountable. We'll hold them accountable. But even now that we've got all these, people like Vivell, people like Lawrence Stewart, people like Paul Winstanley, it seems like our owners, even then, they don't completely listen to these people, I feel like. Or else I think we probably would have had a manager by now. Strange. Pritam, we are Feeder Club Miz. Remember when Todd said he wanted to replicate Red Bull's structure? No wonder we brought all these youngsters in. Will not be surprised when they get shipped out to elites. Yeah, our owners, it feels like they saw something from the outside and they thought, yeah, that looks really good, but they really didn't try and understand how it was built internally. They just saw something from the outside and they thought, yeah, that's fantastic. But they never got into the nitty-gritty of it. They never tried to understand how to actually build that. And that's where the flaws was. Lampard. I was always part of Chelsea team that changed managers regularly. I won 3 league titles, but I should have won 5 or 6. This club needs consistency. That's my feeling. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. Sure, okay, maybe he's right. Maybe he should have won 5 or 6. But in all honesty, I can't blame Roman either. Like, Roman did what he felt was the best for the club to keep on winning immediately. And have we been disappointed? No. Okay, maybe we haven't won the Premier League for a little while now, but we still picked up Champions League. We picked up a Europa League. We've picked up Club World Cup. We picked up a Super Cup. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've not been disappointed. Antonio Conte's second season, I'm pretty certain we picked up a FA Cup as well. Like, I'm happy. Honestly, I have no issues for a manager to stick around for a long time, as long as they just pick up certain silverwares along the way and then keep showing progress, keep showing development of players. I've got no issues, but it's when you have no silverware and you're just consistently getting happy about just making it into top 4, and that's it. That's what the Spurs model was. Okay, let's have a quick look at some of the news that's been floating around before I do my lineup, ladies and gentlemen, which you guys are going to find it very, very funny. Frank Lampard on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. With Aubameyang in a short period, it has been hard for me to gauge that. When you see him come on against Brentford, you see the different feeling in the team. One thing for sure is that he's a high-level player, but he's clearly also in a situation where he's not at his freshest or sharpest. I want a number 9 that we can play off and rely on. It is not ideal for me to play Raheem Sterling or João Felix in the number 9 position, but we had to against Real Madrid. Kai Havertz was missing in one of those matches versus Real Madrid, so there are a lot of things you have to put together. The solution is not always as easy as it seems. I must see if they're ready enough to play. Fair enough. It seems like he's shaping up for Oba to start. We'll see who starts for him tonight against Arsenal. Frank Lampard, you look at the successful models at the top end of the league, and you see managers that have been working there a long time. Recruitment aligned with type of squad they want. You see City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. So clearly, if you want to get there, it's something that hopefully aligns. At the moment, for us, it hasn't. Look, honestly, City and Liverpool, no problems. Those managers are actually along the way won stuff. I wouldn't still put Arsenal there just because they've shown progress. Just because they've shown, 8th, 5th, 2nd. They're most likely going to finish 2nd. But they only have one FA Cup to show for. And as I said, this was the perfect season for Arsenal to really capitalize. I don't think once next season, everyone sort of clicks into gear. As I said, Man United will get better and better. Newcastle are there to stay, it looks like. Liverpool will come back. Hopefully we come back. I don't think Arsenal are going to get an easy run in next season. They'll be back competing for top 4 again. I don't think they'll be competing for the title. Highly, highly doubt it. Let's see what happens. But this is where I don't want us to, it's like we're getting brainwashed to appreciate, look at the Arsenal process. What process, man? I was always part of the Chelsea team that changed managers regularly. With casual hindsight, it is easy to say I had great success. I won 3 league titles, but I should have won 5 or 6. That's my feeling. If we had more consistency and been able to work in one direction, and I feel like we should have done. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of things that has to go for you, man. Like, managers need to be able to keep the players motivated. Crazy things happen. Like, for example, Antonio Conte, for instance. When we won under Antonio Conte, he dragged a team that finished 10th under Jose Mourinho, who got sacked midway through the season before. All of us wanted to keep Antonio Conte. None of us wanted Antonio Conte to go until the second season, when he absolutely started sabotaging the team. He went on headbutting against the board. because he didn't get his way with some of the players. And before you knew it, he was putting us up on lawsuits. Do you know what I mean? He had clashes with the players. So it's great to say consistency, but it's difficult sometimes. Sometimes the managers do madness. The only particular manager that I think we probably done dirty on is Ancelotti. Even Jose had aspirations to go and manage other clubs, this, that, the other, in Europe, in La Liga. This, he always had a feeling of wanting to manage Real Madrid. But even Jose did come back the second time, and even then, the second time around, like all the madness that happened with Eva. So, it's great to sit here and say, yeah, like it would have been great to see some consistency, but circumstances didn't allow for it to happen in most of the times. I'm just glad that we won the level of titles that we won, and I think Frank as well should just be very grateful of what he's won with us. Frank Lampard, with Oba in short period, it's been hard for me to gauge that. Okay, so we've gone through this. Fair enough. In regards to Mikel Mudryk, in an ideal world, a club the level of Chelsea, you want to bring in those players with stability and performances and results where they can find their time, look at the other players playing in front of them, and realize what the standards are to get into the team. I mean, look, I don't know what standards Mudryk has in front of him at the moment that's stopping him to start. The standards aren't that great, if I'm being absolutely honest. Yeah. I hope Mudryk starts, man. I truly do hope Mudryk starts tonight against Arsenal. We can't expect the individuals to find that. So from my point of view, because I've got experience as a player, because I've got experience as a coach, all I want from the players is respect in the working with us, listening to us, myself and the staff, because we do care. We care a lot about the players, even if it's just interim. We're certainly not a group of staff that are putting our feet up and going, we haven't got much. Just wait and get paid for our holidays. We're actually all Chelsea people in there. They're actually trying to make this as positive an experience for everybody as possible. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Let's see what you guys are saying before I do my lineup. Lampard pick and chooses by quoting Arsenal because he wants the job. What a delusion. Why didn't he quote De Zerbi, Ten Hag, and Emery? Exactly, man. Exactly. To be honest, means as impressive as we've been this season, Arsenal fan, we and the teams like AC Milan are anomalies, and even then Milan's finances are worse than us. I'm grateful, but we could have won more and built a dynasty like City have built right now. Yeah, but looking back now, as I said, Ancelotti is probably the only one, but there's so many things that have to go for you as well, man. As a, player management, keeping the motivation up. I certainly don't want to stick around with a manager, like, for instance, in Arsenal case with Arteta. Like, let me know live chat. Nearly 300 of you guys are live right now. If we had a situation, a manager, and we had the same situation like Arsenal at the moment, only one FA Cup in the last 4 seasons. So forget about the Champions League, forget about all the Club World Cup and all of that. Would you be happy? Would you be happy to stick around with that manager because they've gone from 8th, 5th, 2nd without really winning anything besides the FA Cup? Would you be happy? Would you stick around? Honest question to you guys. Nearly 300. You want to talk about building a dynasty, staying true to a particular manager, sticking with the process. Would you be sticking around? Would you be sticking around? Me personally, I don't think I would, because the aim of the game is to win some silverware. We can stick around if that particular manager picked up some silverware along the way. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Premier League, but at least pick up something so we can have the feeling that you're a particular manager that knows how to win. You're a particular manager that has the credentials of winning. Top Dog RLG, thank you so much for the super chat. This club has no standards. That's why every player we signed recently has dropped several levels from where they were that led us to sign them. No, 100%, man, 100%. All right, let's have a look at the lineup. I did a joke sort of formation. You guys are going to laugh at this. I sort of went with the 5-5-0 formation. I was gonna do a joke thing. I get the feeling Frank Lampard's going to put up a really defensive lineup. I mean, if you're going to play with the lineup that against Brentford at Stamford Bridge, what hope do we really have of a very, very brave lineup against Arsenal away from home? So I went for something like this, and I was going to just fill in with a whole heap of defenders and midfielders. But in all honesty, let's do something different. Let's actually put up a lineup that we think can have some sort of a chance against Arsenal. Okay, all right. I'm going to go with the three at the back. And I'm going to go with the double pivot, the wing backs, and then three up front. It's not going to happen like this, is it? It truly isn't going to happen like this. I can just tell. Me doing this lineup, I feel stupid doing this lineup because it's not going to happen. It's honestly not going to happen like this. I just know it. Go with Kepa. I'll go with Badiashile. I don't know what he's done to not be in the team recently. I will go with him. I'll go with Silva. I'll go with Wesley Fofana. I'll go with Chilwell. I'll actually go with Ruben Loftus-Cheek because we don't really have a wing back. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek, whenever he's kind of played in that role, he's done okay. But I'm pretty certain it's going to be Azpilicueta. You best believe it's going to be Azpilicueta. I'll go with Enzo. Go with Kante. And it's good to have Ruben there. When you have Enzo Kante, he can sort of slip into the midfield as well, be an inverted sort of wing back. I'll go with João Felix. I would have gone with David Datra Fofana, but I think Frank might be using Aubameyang in this case. I don't know. Maybe he might even use Havertz, man. Who knows? But honestly, now I wouldn't use Aubameyang anymore because he's not going to be featuring next season. I would go with David Datra Fofana. Seriously, I would go with David Datra Fofana. It's never going to happen. But that's the player I would go with. Felix, David Datra Fofana, and I'd go with probably... Yeah, I'd go with Sterling. I do want to give Mudryk an opportunity. Maybe go with Felix number 9. But Frank said he's not going to play the number 9. Yeah, maybe not Sterling, eh? Go with Mudryk. Just play Felix on the right. I'll go with something like this. Sterling hasn't been that great either recently. I'll go with something like this. Honestly, I'll go with something like this. But you best believe this is not going to happen. You just know this is not going to happen because there's no Gallagher. You know Gallagher is going to be the first player in the team. Gallagher will be the first player. You know what I truly think is going to happen? Marcus saying, why no Madueke? I mean, would you take Felix off for Madueke? Would you take Felix off? Would you like to go with something like this? Yeah, look, it doesn't matter. We could Felix. We don't know what the future for Felix is. So Madueke is our player. Might as well. Yeah, I don't mind. Mudryk, Madueke, David Datra, Fofana, Enzo Fernandez, Kante, Chilwell, Buddy Shield, Silva, Fofana, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Kepa in goalkeeping position. Look, we're going to get slapped up. I'm pretty certain that's not going to be the lineup without a shadow of a doubt. It's going to be a whole heap of defenders, whole heap of midfielders. So get ready for a crazy, crazy lineup coming up later on tonight. But yeah, look, who cares? We're gonna get our backside pumped. We're actually gonna get our backside pumped. I think it's probably going to be 3-4-0. That's my prediction. Give me your prediction before we wrap things up. Ganswood saying 4-1 Chelsea, 4 to Arsenal, Chelsea 1. Reverse Bakus call for sure. We need passion over formation. How about Chukwuemeka and Kovacic? Miz, look, yeah, I would love to see Chukwuemeka, but he doesn't even make it to the squad no more. So what can I say? Madueke deserves time. Now, you're right. You're absolutely right. What's happened to Mendy? I think he's still injured. We don't even know. There's no articles about him either. No one even tells us what's going on with Mendy anymore. It's like he's not even our player. I'm going to waste my 2 hours sleep for this slapping. Nah, true. I'm going to wake up at like 3 a.m. to see this slapping as well. So it's going to be mad. 2-2 for Kotsios. Kepa in goal. Forget it. 2-0 Arsenal. Miz read my mind. There's no way Frankie's playing Gallagher. Yeah, he's definitely starting Gallagher. 3-1 Arsenal. 5-0 Arsenal. Watch along, Miz. Yeah, 100%. God willing, there will be watch along for sure. Make sure you guys are there. Probably start an hour before kickoff, 5 minutes before the lineup comes out. So do look out for that. CFC Blue, thank you so much for the super chat. Chalaba over Ruben and Noni for Felix. 4-0 Arsenal. Even with all the changes, we are going to get our backside whooped. 4-1 Arsenal, 4-0 Arsenal. Yeah, everyone's predicting an Arsenal win, man. Draw from Selim. Let's see, man. Hopefully there is a draw. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps us up. Smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. We're so close to 22,000. So let's get to 22,000. And I shall see you guys for the watch along. For another epic slapping. Until then, take care. See ya.